Good afternoon, everybody. It is Thursday afternoon today, and I realized I got to get a video out to keep my videos to when I want to put them out, and that would be tomorrow, Friday. So I decided I better say something. I didn't even want to do one today. I was very tired, been working hard, and I was going to just skip it. I decided, well, maybe I'll talk just to make a short little video, hopefully, about wintertime logging. And a lot of you guys have logged before, but have you logged in winter, logged in snow? Maybe you have, but and if you have, most of the stuff I'm going to be talking about is something you already know about. But there's a lot of people out there that have never done this. So I want to talk a little bit about horse logging in the snow. This afternoon I have Bill and Earl. This morning I had Lady and Duke. And so that's what I've been trying to do, swapping the teams out at lunchtime since I'm close enough to home to do that. And then working two teams. I do think some days I work a lot harder than they do because they only have to work half a day and I've got to work all day. But anyways, we are still back in here, cut this hardwood that I have. We're really gaining on it. Now this job here has to be done, or I sure hope to have it done, by March 31st, which gives me a little bit less than 6 weeks to finish up. And I think I'm going to do it. Off to my right, that's all done up in there. And so I'm gaining on it really fast. Well, I shouldn't say really fast, but I am gaining on it. So anyways, let me get started and I will talk about logging in the snow and some other things about what makes logging so hard but so good this time of year. So here's a nice little maple. I got two 10-foot, or I don't know, maybe it was a 10 and an 8 foot log out of this, and I just gotta go lop the top up. Now what I do, or I'm definitely doing on this job, and maybe the majority of my jobs that I do, whether it's softwood or hardwood, I lop the tops. That means all the tops that were there, everything sticking up in the air, I kind of lop them down so they're somewhat under 3 feet. That's kind of maybe the old school way of doing it, I guess. But it just looks so much better when you're done. If you turn back there, Brendan, just point over there. There's so many tops in there, and I basically just lop them down. And the purpose of that is so they'll rot down faster, of course. A lot of your loggers or foresters even nowadays are saying you don't have to lock the tops. It's not enough of a benefit, and I wish that was the case here for me because it's a tremendous amount of work to lop tops. But this is my neighbor's land, and I want to have a nice looking job just like I would if it was on my own land. I mean, I want to have a nice looking job anyways, but if it's way out in the boondocks where no one's going to see it, it's not so crucial. But right here is basically in the backyard, and so I want to have it nice. And so I'm spending the extra time to lop tops. So I got that all lopped up. Now I'm ready to cut the trees to where I want them to be able to get out of here. We have approximately a foot on the snow on the ground right here now, and compared to other years, other times, this is very little snow. The last few years I've been up at Portsmouth College logging, and if you've been watching my videos, you would have seen how much snow that we have up there that we're dealing with. And the one thing that people don't realize is how much they think that you have snow, so everything drags so much easier. Well, there's a lot of truth to that, but people don't realize how much, especially when you have a lot of snow, how hard it is to pull through a lot of snow. After you have a trail made, and I'll show you our trail down below, it turns really ice and really slippery, and it pulls a tremendous, it pulls quite easy. But at this stage here, when you're first starting, it pulls a little bit hard because you get all this snow. Now this morning when I came in here, it was cold enough and somewhat of a warm day yesterday that we had a pretty good layer of crust on here, which makes it actually really hard to walk because the crust can actually trip you up. And now it's warmed up this afternoon, and that's not the case. It's softer snow. But this softer snow is a sticky snow, and actually is hard to pull through because it packs right up. So I guess all I'm saying is there's a tremendous amount of difference from day to day as to how well things pull because of the condition of the snow. If you guys are skiers, you'll know that there's a huge difference in how things go skiing day to day because of the conditions of the snow. So what I'm going to do right here now is cut these two pieces and get turned around and get hitched on, probably a longer chain, and pull it all down there, down the road. And then this piece here will go out by itself later on. We have had very few quality logs on this log job. These two logs right here are probably as good a quality logs as we've had ever since we've been here. So much of what we're cutting is basswood, which has very, very low value and very little use. And then the next thing is firewood. And firewood, as most of you guys know, really have a very, very low, for the amount of work that goes into it, a very, very low financial gain. Anyways, the beauty about that is sometimes you still might have a nice piece of firewood in a place where you just don't even bother it. You just let it rot in the woods because it's going to cause you way more trouble to get it out than it would to, you're better off just to leave it there. Here's a situation right here. We have this small maple tree right here, and I need to go that way with these two pieces. The rest of this little piece right here would not go that way very good, so I'm just going to leave it. So let's get to the difficulties, advantages, and disadvantages of the horses working in the snow. Just go. Nice step, ha, ha, ha. Oh, ha, 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 ha. Oh, oh. So one big advantage and disadvantage both is the fact that snow will cover up things. This particular log job, I have all kinds of boulders in here, all kinds of stones, and the snow will cover them up. And that's nice but the horses can't see where they are, and I can't either, and I can step on one of them stones and I can fall down really easy, just like a horse can. Happy. Ha, 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 hip, ha. Hip, ha. 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 Hip, ha. Ha. Hip, ha. 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 Back, back, back. Back up here. Oh. No. Now here's a big log that I'm on straddled over right now, and if that's could be in my way, but I don't think it's going to be. It seemed to peter out and it's not so much right there, so I was able to get over it. So now I'm going to get my chains connected up and try to get out of here. Nice little bit. Careful. Oh. Bye. 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 Back a bit more. Bye. Oh. Oh. It's not quite so obvious right there, but another very difficult problem with snow is when you're backing the cart up, it is actually quite hard to do when you have a lot of snow. On bare ground, the cart will go no problem, but on snow, it's a little bit more difficult. So another problem that comes with wintertime logging is so often you'll have a trail that is really nice. Whoops, I don't want this. Really nice and icy, and if you're going down a hill, the logs will actually slide right down and cause trouble. A lot of times they will just fall, the chains will actually fall right off of them. So what I do quite often on a smaller log like this right here is I will take my chain and actually go around it twice. Now my chains are 12 feet long, so that makes it a little bit easier. You know, it gives them plenty of chain to do it with. And so I will go around twice and then hook the chain. And the chances of losing that log are so much greater. You're not likely to lose that log when you have a chain like this. I'm not saying it won't, I'm just saying it's very unlikely. A bigger log like this, it's less apt to come off. Although that one there, I could see that falling off, so I'm gonna have to watch it really close when I get out of here and get shorter and a better hitch on that. But I have one limb right here I want to cut off, and I also have this big log. I'm going to just cut this off because this one here could possibly drop down and hit onto that dead log. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead a little ways right now. I would prefer taking a lot bigger load than this right here. But under the circumstances, sometimes you have to go with a smaller load unless you can grab something to go along with it down the road, down the ways. And I still might grab that other piece. So let's just see. Let's get this out of here and see what happens. I cuffed up. Oh. Bye. 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 Oh. G. 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 Oh, bye. 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 Oh, back up here. Bye. 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 Oh. Okay, this piece here I know is too long to get around the corner I would need to go to. So because of that, I know I'm going to have to cut it off anyways. So I can either pull it down like this a little ways and cut it, or I could cut it right now and be done with it and grab those other two with this one. If that's what I'm going to do. Step a little bit. Oh. Step a little bit. G. Careful, careful. Oh. Ha, 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 ha. Oh, bye. 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 Oh. No. So as you can see, we have this center log. Back up here. Bye. Back here. Bye. Oh, quite a ways behind these other two logs. So my plan is to leave some slack in the other two logs and pull ahead so that that one comes up to the rest of them. And then I'll shorten it up. Cuffs up. Oh. 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 Cuffs up. Careful, careful. Jeep. 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 Oh. Okay, now I need to have my team well out of the way of cutting the next tree. And this is not a snow situation, but it sure is a situation that makes it kind of hard. It's because of this hill I'm on. It's not terribly steep, but steep enough. I have to skid the tree down that I have for a hitch and then I have to walk all the way back up the hill. I have one more tree up there that has to come down, and when I'm logging, it's kind of like the old kids game, pick up sticks or whatever it's called. You gotta lay the trees down in such a way to not make a mess for yourself, because the more you have to handle brush twice, the more work is involved. So anyways, we have this piece to come out of here at some point, which is mostly pallet logs. I mean, mostly firewood, maybe one pallet log right here. But we have one more decent sized maple, ugly as can be, up here that we need to cut. Down she goes with these big old maples with the big tops. It's hard or almost impossible to not do some damage to the trees that are standing. And so all you do is try to do the best you can. So now it's just a matter of lifting this up, and this tree will go down from the tip end down through there. There's kind of an opening right down through there, and it won't be a problem at all, I don't think. As you can see, she's pretty darn hollow. Good animal cave, I guess. Check this out. No, it's all frost heaves, hoarfrost type thing.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's beautiful.
Neato. Doesn't seem to go very far. Oh yeah, it does. It's still in there.
See how far it does go. Does it go further than that?
Here's my axe.
I guess this trees, time was come to.
By the looks of it, its time had come a long, long, long time ago. Anyways, that's it. Let's get down and get that log skidded down to the landing. So as you guys can see right here in this corner right here, it started to break up a little bit yesterday, so I was actually in a little bit of mud right through here, just in this one spot. But let me show you the trail and to give you an idea what a trail looks like for wintertime logging with the horses, and some of the hazards that you have to be concerned with. So right here, we have a big old boulder that we have to go over. And then we got another boulder right there, and the horse that's on this side, which is Bill, he has to be very careful to place his feet in such a way that he doesn't step on something and have his feet slide out from underneath him sideways and go down. These are some of the big risks in logging in the wintertime, because even though I have good shoes on, although I don't have my pulling shoes, I just have flat shoes with good Boreum or Drill Techs on, they still can hit spots where they don't have traction, and that's where you get into trouble. So we go down this trail a little ways. This trail, I just started this trail on a couple days ago now, and so this isn't as froze solid as the trail that's out there. Let's go down there just a bit. So as you can see, even though, as you can see, this trail is just not froze solid. You know, the snow has kept the ground from freezing really hard, so it turns into mud fast. This is one thing I have to be concerned about in the next few weeks that I have to get this job done, to try to get it done before the ground itself breaks up. In other words, turns to mud. So that's what I'm really shooting to do, but we're in northern New York and we probably have, you know, at least 4 more weeks of good winter left, and hopefully we can get it done. So now we're coming to the trail that I've used for a couple weeks now. And even this trail is softening up because the warm weather we're getting in the afternoons. As you can see right here, this snow, which is solid ice before, is softening up. Even this morning, it was quite cold and it was all solid ice. So what we have to be careful with when we're going on these trails is they tend to what do you call it? Bowl out, I guess you could say. They kind of have the shape of a bowl. And so as the horses are pulling, they're not on a flat surface. The logs make this into like a bowl shape, so we have sloped sides. And so there's 2 horses here. So one horse is here and one horse is here. So they're both on a sloped portion of the trail. And when it's cold, this turns to solid, slippery ice. And they have the potential of having their feet slip down underneath them and actually fall down. It's not very often that happens because horses are really good and very good on their feet, but it's still always that risk because the snow road makes a bowl road. And because of that, it makes it a little bit harder to walk on, but also because of that, it makes it very slippery, so you can pull a tremendous load. So you just take advantage of those times when you can, and you can get so much more out. So let me go get the horses, and Brenda will stay here and she can show this section here where they have the potential of slipping and sliding, and then we'll go down to the landing. Oh. So this is not an extremely large hitch behind me, and when I'm dealing with the wintertime logging, I do try to get very large loads because I can pull them on the ground that we have with the icy roads. But there are times where you just need to go with whatever you have and just go back and forth some. But I do like to get the bigger loads to make more money in the process of logging. Cap step. So as you can see, even right now, Belle is kind of in the hollow, and Earl was kind of walking on top of the bowl. It's an interesting day because the temperature's pretty warm. I think it must be close to 30. And but there's spots in the woods here where you go through like a little pocket of a cold spot, and it's actually quite chilly. So guys, I hope you enjoyed some of my thoughts on logging with snow, with horses. And if you ever get a chance to do it, it's worth the chance of doing, because it can be very fun, even though a tremendous amount of work. So I hope you enjoyed today's video. You guys have a great day, and we'll see you next time. Hey, Stepa. Ha, ha. Oh.